Hello YouTube and welcome back to episode 6 of my FIFA 16 Hull City career mode. As you can see, we get in at home to away to Manchester United in this game, and straight away in the episode we take a lead against Manchester United in the 80th minute to make it 1-0. Robert Snodgrass, on his first start after his injury, does really well to come inside and hit it past the goalkeeper. I do believe it to be his first half, and that's how that game finished. Then you can see we get into the second game against Tottenham Hotspur, and this one finished as a boring 0-0. This episode is going to include the January transfer window. Therefore, I will be simming all of the matches in January, and all of them will be in this episode, as well as these 3 games left in December of the 2015. You can see they do try and get a goal, but we can get it away and it finishes 0-0. Then you can see we come into the third game of this episode, which is the last played game before the transfer window opens. And as you can see, we play it down to Sam Klukas. He whips it in, and Abel Hernandez heads it over the goalkeeper who came for it. Did very poor, and Hernandez can just put it into the back of the net. So it had been a while since he scored, but he scored in the last episode, and now he scores in this game as well. Good header, and it's 1-0 to us against Middlesbrough at the KC Stadium. Then you can see we throw it out long. Hernandez heads it back to Rangelov, who plays it down the line to Hernandez. As you can see, I played 3 strikers in this game. Hernandez whips it in. Mbakani with the volley on his left foot, and a really good strike onto the bottom of the crossbar into the back of the net. All 3 strikers played today, teaming up there with Rangelov playing it through to Hernandez, and a really good ball to make it 2-0. And you can see we try to get it away, but it's a very poor ball. Ayala gives it to Rhodes, who then chips it up, and it's headed into the back of the net by Gaston Ramirez, I believe. No, not Gaston Ramirez, Adama Traore, I think. But I'm not too sure. It's just Ramirez was what it said on the bottom of the screen there, sorry. Anyway, that is 2-1, but that is how that game finishes. Because we're into the start of a new month, we get into a squad report here. This is the first time I won't actually be saying goodbye on a squad report. As you can see, some players are growing quite well. Most surprising, I would say, is David Marshall, who's grown 2 already, and I only trained him up by 1. That I stopped training him. You can see some players are growing, some of the older players are decreasing, even Mbakani's gone up 1. As you can see, that more of the young strikers are growing as well. Then we get into the first sim game of this episode, which is the FA Cup against Carlisle. I did name a very changed squad. They did go into the lead in the 4th minute, but then Sean Maloney equalised in the 19th minute, and Will Keane scored in the 43rd. His first goal for the club. So then you can see the game's advancing, and Rangelov gets his first goal for the club, making it 3-1, the Berbatov regen, and that was how that game finished, a 3-1 win. Then you can see I'm putting in a couple of contract offers for right backs. One's Cuco Martinez and the other Dominic Iorfa. This because El Mohammadi wanted to leave. He said he was homesick, so I made them 2, and then I go in and make our first signing, which is Jay Rodriguez for 5 million, I believe, plus El Mohammadi. So El Mohammadi won't be sold for a cut price deal. He will be used as part of the deal to sign Jay Rodriguez. So anyway, you can see our second game of this month is against Southampton, his old club, and Abel Hernandez scored in the 2nd minute to make it 1-0 to Hull City. So you can see we advance past the half-time mark. A few substitutions made, and not much is really happening now. Past the 75-minute mark, and Shane Long, though, equalises in the 80th minute to make it Hull City 1, Southampton 1. Disappointing to concede that late. But anyway, you can see here we put in a contract offer for Lee Griffiths, just as backup for a striker, but I don't think we do need it. And you can see both Cuco Martinez and Dominic Iorfa accept their offers because they're similar offers, just Iorfa's a bit more. They're same overall, but Iorfa's 6 years younger, so I sign him up. Then you can see we get into the third game of this month, which is away to Stoke City. Shawcross puts them 1-0 up in the 22nd minute. So that's not good for us to fall 1-0 behind here. We've come up past the hour mark. They're still leading 1-0, and then still advancing, and Shaqiri makes it 2-0, which means they are winning this game. And in the 90th minute, Robert Snodgrass picks up an injury. He'll be out for the rest of January, but I think he should return. Sam Klukas then picks up an injury in this game against Bournemouth, but then Mbakani puts us in the lead on the half-hour mark. And then just after halftime, Andy Robertson scores, and then King pulls one back for us, but then Robertson actually scores his second goal of the game and his second goal of the season to make it 3-1, and a good win for us. Klukas should also be back for the next episode. And you can see we turned down Tom Carroll on a pre-contract deal and signed Will Hughes, which I will tell you now, because I've played quite a bit into the future, I am very disappointed I made that decision, especially what you will see next, as I turned down the chance to sign, I think it was Craig Gardner and Stephen Davis, and I really wish I'd signed Stephen Davis instead of Will Hughes, because I forgot that Will Hughes never grows on career mode. So you can see Stoke take the lead in the 5th minute in the final game of this episode through Wilfred Boney. We advance past the halftime mark. Can't believe I keep pronouncing it wrong. Then you can see Arnautovic scores after about 10 minutes of the second half. Bojan makes it 3-0, and we are out of the FA Cup. But as per usual, we will end the episode with the squad report, the second one of this episode. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like. If you want to see any of this career mode or anything I do in FIFA 17, do subscribe if you want to. And I'll see you later.